Someone's had a great deal of catnip today. Hey, I'm Izzy. You may know me as Poison Jackal on various platforms. This is Rain. And welcome to this video about my prints. Now, my prints journey is one that I started quite a few years ago, and it's gone okay. Oh, that's a Game Boy. These are all of the prints that I have remaining. When I began streaming for the second time, I'd quit my fixed term contract and I decided not to extend it. I decided to let it run out. And so at that point, I was pretty confident that I could put a bit of effort into starting my career as an artist. And so towards the end of that phase, which did end, and I had to go back to employment because I needed to buy a house, I was making these little paintings. I found them. You gonna fall, Rain? If I sit upright? You better? Yeah. There you go. Oh, okay. So I was doing these paintings and they were all on the same kind of surface. And so I thought it would be cool to do kind of a series. Okay, that's straight on now. So we've got these three paintings that are looking pretty similar. They're looking a bit overexposed. Now the first one in the series was this one, the succulent. This one I painted so we've got acrylics and then there's gold ink dots on there. Oh, there's also a little gold edging as well. There you go. So at some point I decided to attempt to varnish it, and the ink is actually not waterproof. So when I varnished it, we got these kind of brushed things. And then I very quickly stopped doing that, and it's only probably had one coat, I think. So that's the first one. Learned some lessons with that. So this is from the 11th of July 2019. It's just on MDF as well. That's the dimensions. And then I did try and sell them at a market, but that didn't work. And you can see a splotch there from where they've been blue tacked to my wall before. So that's the next one. It is a jackal because of my namesake. Same deal, acrylic with gold. Without the varnishing, you can see the gold much better. Except apparently not on camera. Gold on the edges as well. I tried sanding it first, but I didn't do a very good job. This is from February the 4th. And then the last one was the wee sparrow. Acrylic on MDF with gold ink. And that is from May of 2020. These are what I had the prints made of. And I have one unwrapped here. You may have seen, I made a video previously about one of these. I showed the process of putting the ink on. So this is a print on giclée German etching paper. The print is 15 by 15, but it is the same, the image is the same size as the originals. Apparently it's been quite challenging for some people to find frames for these. So I've had one person who got very lucky and found exactly the right size frames, like the day they bought it. Everyone else that I know of that's framed them has put them in a row, a longer frame. So that's their sort of choice, but yes. So this is print with hand embellished ink on top. It is the same ink that is on the originals. Thank you. And that is, oops, there's the last one there. These get sold as a pack of 3. So you can arrange them in whichever order you like. You could put one in the kitchen, one in the bathroom, and one in a bedroom. You know, that you can do whatever you want with them. If you're, for some reason, interested in buying only one of a print, let me know that as well, because I could consider splitting the packs up if that's more appealing, I guess. You know, if you'd rather only have a sparrow because sparrows are like a symbol for you, then that's something that I can certainly consider. I just hope that there's also someone that has jackals as a symbol and succulents as a symbol. That way, you know, you 3 can share a pack between you or something like that. That would be kind of cool. You can draw on them, you can do whatever you like. Excuse me. And now, parts of this video are going to have some old footage from, I believe, 2020, when I organized these to be made. At the time of getting them printed, I had a reasonable sort of like engagement feeling while I was streaming, so I was pretty confident that while I was streaming, I would learn, because I wouldn't have been good at it at the time, I would learn how to be like, hey guys, you know, at the end of the stream, I got some print packs available, you've seen me do the process for these, you hung out while I painted, and I have guests here. I'll come back and film the rest of this in a moment. I will show the unboxing for this. Alrighty, I'm back. I've had some tea and a muffin. So I was saying, I was planning on getting my train of thought back. I was planning on selling these to the people that hung out and at the time saw the process for them. They were fresh, they were good to go, and I decided to order 50 of each, because I thought, okay, cool, this is sort of like the start of having a shop, you want like a stock number, that kind of thing. If I can sell 50 of them, then that's pretty fucking good. Foreshadowing, that is the reason why I now only do print on demand, print to order, because, well, this kind of looks pretty close to the number 50, don't you think? I think in total I've sold like 6 or 7 of these, to be, if I'm remembering correctly at all. So yeah, it got to that point where I was like, cool, I can take the next step in my career journey and, you know, make like a big business decision and see how it works out for me. And that is exactly the point where things in my personal life basically turned a little bit to custard, and I needed to change my living situation, which meant that I needed to get reliable, steady income again. I had to find full-time work. So I ended up going back to the same place that had the fixed-term contract. I went back there, and I stayed there for 3 years. And I bought a house and moved out and all sorts of stuff. And these sort of just stayed in my cupboard for a while. So now, you know, they're always like, they're not burdening me in any way, really. It's a cost that I paid for, and you know, it'd be nice to see them on people's walls, which is why I'm making these videos, so that I can kind of remind people that they exist and get them out there, and then like show you how I made them and so on and so forth. Because they are a limited set print, I also forgot to mention this earlier, they do have a number on the back of each of them. So the set should all have the same number. We are not in focus. They also, I mean, this doesn't really matter, but they all have a coloured page. So they all have a little bit of personalization. They're all sort of individual. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So as I go through this, you will see me doing a bit of the cutting of the backing board, which is this bit here. And no, that's all for the video. I think I showed you the mailer as well, which is apparently compostable, but personally I would probably still put it in the red bin, because I mean, if it's gonna compost, it'll compost anywhere. It doesn't have to be actually in a compost pile, is my sort of reasoning behind that. And that way, if there are microplastics in here, then they're in the right place instead of in a compost bin where you don't want microplastics to be. So the materials, okay, firstly, the MDF panels came from my local art store, Gordon Harris. They were $1 each at the time, and I think that they are no longer $1 each because inflation! The prints were made at Microfilm in Wigram, and the lovely person that I've been dealing with pretty much the whole time I've had business with them has unfortunately retired, so the next few prints that I do eventually make there will be building probably a relationship with a new person, so that'll be fine. But they were really nice throughout the whole process. I got to come in and like physically check the quality of each one, and she did a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of like color correcting and all sorts of stuff. Basically, any print that I have should be on the same paper because I like the texture that it has. It's got a bit of a tooth, and I feel like it holds colors really nicely. So these are from 2020, you know? They do stay in the dark, in a cupboard. They don't get moved around much. They still look fantastic.
The prints that I've seen put on people's walls have also stood up pretty well. There's one that was bought probably in 2020 or 2021 roughly, on a family friend's wall, and every time I go by, I try, well, I'm not super good at remembering to, but I try to check them out, and they seem to be holding up super well. So that's, what is that, 5 years old, and they're fresh as the day they were born.
In a situation where I do have one sold or given away, I've given away a couple, I will open them up and I will check to make sure that the gold is still okay. So if I just pull a random one out here, maybe we'll put that just to keep my spot because they're numbered. So if I pull a random one out here, also to continue my story, the mailers and the cardboard, backing and the string all came from a packaging place called Shardlow's. Oh, this is beautifully tied. I've managed to pull out a pink one. Okay. Now, if I remember correctly as well, there is a nice piece of like tissue paper in between each print that came from the printing place. They provide that already. And here we have a lovely sparrow print, and the gold honestly looks pretty good. I wouldn't have to change too much about that. So they're holding up really nicely in their storage, thank goodness. That is one thing that I was sort of always like worried about, but you know, they're archival prints. They're meant to last, and yeah, that's beautiful. And these happen to be number 38. Perhaps, you know, perhaps one of you lucky sods out there will get number 38 if you happen to make a purchase of this from my Kofi webpage store. But I'll also show you, here's the page. You can see all the information you like there, and also a couple of other things in my shop. Okay, shipping. Okay, everything on my shop, shipping is locked to New Zealand because the prices to ship to other countries vary every single time that I go to use my post store. It's always different. So if you are interested in buying this, let me know and I will find out the exact cost for you. And there are options for tracking and untracked and so on and so forth. So if you're interested, chuck me an email or something or a message on Kofi and I will find out everything that you want to know about postage prices. Oh no, I wrapped that up without telling you how it goes. Okay, so there's a backing board, there is print, tissue paper, print, tissue paper, print, tissue paper, cute little colored thing. And then I think in the past what I've done is I've done a little handwritten note saying thank you, and then I chuck a business card in, and then it just slides on into the mailer. That way. Questioning whether I did the bow up nicely enough, but it's okay, because I'll end up checking it again whenever I have to. Press all the air out. You don't want any of that fresh New Zealand air. Yucky. And then that's it. That's the print, I guess. I guess I'll roll the footage of whatever I decided to keep at the time from 2020 about... Honestly, it's literally just cutting the backing boards, I'm pretty sure. So it's riveting footage. It's kind of terrifying and uncomfortable, but you get to see the making of these. And then there's the video with the batch painting of the gilding. And then I think I just had a really chill evening one time, just sitting down, numbering each print, pairing them all up. What's the word for pairing when there's 3 of them? And then picking a nice colored paper for each one, which I had this colored paper for so long. I think it's origami paper. Perfect size, and I just used it to you know, nicely frame each one.
Hey!
darling. Hey. Move. Please, if you have any questions about this, chuck them in the comments, because mostly I'm like, I still don't know really what I'm doing. So in my head, if you ask me a question, it's like an opportunity for me to learn about something that I maybe didn't consider in this whole thing. I will put the link to the thing in the description. I feel like this kind of turned into a desperate plea rather than like a, here's this cool thing that I made. Like, I love the gold. I went through a phase where I really liked blue and yellow and putting gold on everything that I could get my hands on. So that's why, if you go through that coffee shop, you'll see there's like an owl that's blue with gold, and I can't remember if I uploaded it, but there's a moth with blue and gold. Like, I just love that color combination. It feels so royal, and like respectable, right? The moment that I made these and had them all sorted and ready to go, I was like, another three, another set. Maybe they'll be winners. Maybe people will love these, and I can do another set, another print pack. But I haven't painted these yet. So if you love these and you want to see them in the same shape, same style, different pictures, let me know what you would love to see. Or what kind of things would make a good series, I guess, because most of the stuff I paint at the moment, I think, is like centered around my own life, which is kind of like how you get good art, right? Like it's got to mean something to the artist generally. But sometimes you just gotta paint a cool looking thing instead, you know? Yeah, I'm running out of ideas. I know that there's stuff that I've forgotten. I will leave you to the rest of the video. Feel free to catch me on Twitch if I get cool ideas for these. You'll be able to see those come to life over there. I answer lots of questions. I take requests sometimes. You doing some big circles? You having some big flappies? How you going? Boop boop. I would love to know if there's any stories that you guys have where you've kind of been in a similar situation where like you planned out this whole elaborate thing or something similar and you thought it was going to work and then it kind of just fizzles out or backfires or something. I want to know, have you ever tried to rekindle it? Has it worked for you? I know a big part of artists is that they don't like to, you know, push and sell stuff or bother people by showing the same things over and over again. A lot of content creation is kind of like needs to be new and fresh, but kind of the only way to sell things is to remind people that it exists. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending some time with me, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Yay!